Oilers, you got a great offense with Connor McDavid. So I have them sweeping them.
Yeah, well, I don't think you heard my point. The San Francisco Giants have 3 more in the 2010s than the Rangers have in their entire history. So, yeah.
It's hard to get back and to get back-to-back wins. And I don't see the Lightning doing it here, so I have them losing to the Hurricanes in 6.
We don't talk about the 2010s because the 2010s had the Astros. And if the Astros didn't happen, the Yankees would have won in 2017 with the Dodgers.
He was close to Frank Reich, and they want Frank Reich back, so that's what they got. It's their discount Frank Reich.
Kaprizov and the rest of this crew, Jordan Greenway, who doesn't get enough props. He definitely is somebody who needs to be mentioned more.
Hi, this is Julie Dobbs. You're listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NFL Opinions of the Week. This one is coming after the day of Matt Eberflus. The Bears, after, I would say, a pretty good start to the season. They were above 500, 2 games above 500. The Bears have struggled a little bit. To me, it's been on the road. But I do think there are questions about Matt Eberflus's job security. And I'm wondering, how are you feeling about his job security right now, Austin?
I don't know how high it is, especially after losing to the Patriots, a team that is not good. And when that happens, you're also scoring 3 points as an offense. I don't think it's all that high.
Yeah, you don't. You do think it's hot or not that hot?
I don't think his job security is high.
Oh, high. Got it. So this, you could also say the seat is getting warm. Yeah, especially against the Patriots. Patriots scored 19 points, and to me, it's the offense. However, I would be reluctant to fire him because this would just be the Bears repeating themselves. Because I want to say, was it when John Fox was the coach? That was when they drafted Mitch Trubisky, correct?
I don't know if that was the first year of Trubisky or not.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but you had it with Justin Fields. You had his first year under Matt Nagy, fire Matt Nagy. Then you bring in Matt Eberflus. And to me, I am very reluctant to restart quickly after the first year. Because you're even seeing the effect of it with Trevor Lawrence. He had one good season with Doug Peterson, but they've struggled. So to me, I'm worried about if they fired Matt Eberflus, especially in the middle of the season. That's going to be an entirely new playbook and new system for Caleb Williams to figure out, which is just adding more for him to figure it out. Like, he could still handle it, but to me, I don't want to put that much pressure on him. How do you feel about that?
But I just don't. They were looking good at the beginning of the season, looking like a potential playoff team, and then these last 2 games have been horrible. The last 3 halves. So the second half of the Cardinals game and these 2 halves against the Patriots have just been some of the worst halves of Bears basketball in a very long time. They've gotten almost no points. The production from their offense has been horrible. DJ Moore, someone who they just signed to a long-term extension, has not been good. And their defense, while it's been fine, hasn't been stopping teams like the Patriots from scoring almost 20 points. So there's a lot of problems. And while I do agree that, like, at this point, right this second, it is not the best time to fire him, I totally understand why those conversations are being had.
Yeah, I can understand them too. My problem is if I would have just fired him and started with a new clean slate at the start of this year. So then you have time for Caleb to at least learn a system and bring in an offensive guy. And yeah, DJ Moore, while he's not producing, to me that is most concerning is his body language. There is that play from 2 weeks ago now where Caleb was still running and DJ Moore just went to the bench. He's really which I'm surprised by. We talked about this was a great situation for Caleb Williams with the type of wide receivers. You had Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, and Romeo Odunze. But now it's really tough. And to me, I think you just got to ride with it for a little bit longer, at least one more year, so then Caleb can feel comfortable in the NFL and then he can learn a new system.
How long is the leash then?
I think you have to do it at least 2 years. Because I can't. The more I think about it, what is a young quarterback, rookie quarterback that played the majority of his first season? Maybe Baker, but he still struggled. I'm trying to think of a guy where it was consistently seamless, because they'll do well for 1 year and then they'll struggle the next. I'm trying to think what quarterback lost his head coach after his first year.
I mean, Justin Herbert, the team's been bad, but he hasn't. Because I think his rookie year, I think, was Anthony Lynn.
Yes. Okay. Justin Herbert is a good example. That's a good one.
Because while the team's been bad, he has not been bad. I don't think he's had a bad season yet, unless it's been like injury-wise.
Okay, Justin Herbert's a really good example. Okay. Because to me, that's why I'm reluctant. Even though Caleb Williams should still be a great quarterback. I know people are comparing him to Jaden. It's a long career, I think, for him. So it's going to take him time, but he is a guy to me where he struggled, especially with how bad the offensive line is. And I think you could question play calling, but to me, it would just be putting a lot of pieces in front of him while he's still figuring out the speed of this, of just playing in the NFL.
So you think 2 years, like this past year and next season?
So I think I wouldn't fire Eberflus. I'm debating it because the problem is it looks like it was going well, and then that Hail Mary attempt has really hurt the Bears locker room, and I think there is starting to be division in that. So it's getting tough, but I think you have to think long term instead of short term, and I would be very reluctant to fire Eberflus. I think I would have to wait till next year, unless something drastic happens, but you want to protect Caleb because you want him to be great. And I do think while players can still be great, you have to set them up for success. And I think firing Eberflus and having Caleb learn an entire new playbook in his second year would not set him up well for success.
I mean, I want to see how the rest of the season pans out for me to kind of make a choice in that regard, because I do think that they hear it more than we do as fans or as people who are making a podcast. They hear the locker room noise a lot louder, and so if a GM's walking through and hearing those type of things, I don't see how you don't react to that, because as a rookie QB, the toxicity of a bad locker room can really get to you. You don't have the veteran experience knowing of how to adjust to the guys around you. You kind of are the kid on the block, and because of that, you're like a sponge, and that toxicity can kind of turn you off to a lot of things. And if you don't kind of make a change now, that could really affect him moving forward with the organization. We've seen a lot of bad QB situations with the Bears in the past and other teams when they've had bad coaching situations. It kind of gets to the players, and especially once it gets to the QB, your franchise QB, it's kind of hard to get them out of it. So I could definitely see why you'd want to fire him now to try to get ahead of it, try to change the locker room morale without having to discard too many pieces, especially the guy you just signed for so long. And yeah, so your thoughts?
Yeah, you bring up a great point with the toxicity and affecting Caleb Williams. I think that's a great point. You could also talk about, I think Rome Odunze is a great player. and an important piece to this organization because Keenan Allen's getting up in age. And if you see what if you're Odunze and you're seeing what DJ Moore is doing, because I do think, despite what is being said, I think DJ Moore is not setting a great example. You can tell he's frustrated and he's not really, I think, being a good role model for Caleb because to me, it's just kind of like Caleb's there. I'm trying to think of some great old. You did have Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen, but then that soured. But I guess you have when Deshaun Watson before everything happened. Deshaun Watson and DeAndre Hopkins when they were together. You're not seeing that with DJ Moore and Caleb Williams, and you could see Odunze getting that negative effect. So I understand the concerns, but I am one like this is something I've thought of. I'm like, I don't know if I want to do it. To me, this is something not firing Eberflus because I don't think this year of Eberflus is changing your opinion from what you had before this season started.
I think if the locker room is going from non-toxic to toxic, would that not his ability to not be able to control the morale of the locker room? That's a change from last season. So is that not something that could change your mind about it? He's unable to manage the emotions around him.
Yeah, that's a good point. To me though, we could already see this. I'm like he's probably going to be fired next year. To me, I was the benefits because the benefits are okay, well, we want to see what he does with it. I would say arguably a better QB than Justin Fields, and that's what you're thinking. But to me, it's just I was already on the verge. I think they were already on the verge of firing Eberflus, so why not do it early? And then that way you have 3 years with Caleb Williams and under one coach, or at least two.
So your thought is don't fire him this season, wait until the end of next season, and then make the move?
Yes. Unless it gets really bad, which I guess it is on that waypoint. But I think just having a bad record is not enough for them to fire Eberflus after this season.
Okay.
It has to be what you're talking about with that toxicity, which it is starting to get to, and it's going to be a big game for next week with the Packers um, on Sunday Night Football. So if they don't show up in the Packers game, it's going to be pretty tough for Eberflus to have his job because I do think that locker room is reaching that boiling point you're talking about.
Yeah. We'll have to see if he could turn it around or if this organization wants to give him time or not.
Yeah, and we'll keep you updated through that. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and we appreciate you listening to Outsiders Opinions.